I request all of us to be upstanding for the national anthem and Tamil Thai Valtu. Our students from Lalaji Memorial Omega International School will deliver it for us. Children, please.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाये तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்த கெழியொழுகும் சீராறும் வதனமென திகழ் பரத கண்டமிதில் தெக்கணமும் அது சிறந்த திராவிடர்கள் திருநாளும் தக்க சிறு திரை நுதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் வழக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிலமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே வாழ்த்ததுமே.
Thank you. These are our children from Lalaji Memorial Omega International School. Thank you, children. Good morning, everyone. It is indeed our special privilege and pleasure to welcome the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Ravi, to this event. Sir, we are honored that you accepted our invitation and we look forward to your speech. I take great pleasure in welcoming our other speakers for today, Dr. Veronique Nicolai, Director, Heartfulness Yoga Institute, Dr. K.S. Balasubramanian, Deputy Director, the Kuppuswamy Sastri Research Institute, and Thiru Prashant Vasu, President, Strategy, Ramco Group, and former partner of McKinsey & Company. I also welcome my fellow meditators from Heartfulness Institute, the media, and everyone assembled here for this special event. Thank you for being here. We have witnessed the devastating effect of this pandemic on our society. It is times like this that call for us to introspect and seek deeper meaning in our lives. While modern therapy offers us the ability to heal our mind and body, is there a way that we can tap into the real essence of timeless wisdom? Today, we will hear from our esteemed speakers about how the books, The Authentic Yoga, and Tales from the Vedas and Upanishads provides us tools and inspiration to weather these events and lead a life of peace, joy, and contentment. Heartfulness Institute has been working silently over 75 years now in propagating world peace, harmony, and unity among world citizens. We help people lead a balanced life and let them unfold the highest human potential possible. Heartfulness offers a set of practices, tools, and techniques like meditation, cleaning, prayer, in working towards our cherished global vision. Chennai Metro Zone, with its sincere and committed volunteers, have been tirelessly working towards spreading this message all across Chennai and nearby suburbs in government, private enterprises, schools, and colleges. We would only be too delighted to give a taste of our practice to the Honorable Governor, should he choose to experience it. We would also love to offer heartfulness practices to Raj Bhavan staff if the Honorable Governor permits it to be so. Now, let us hear the prepared remarks from Daji, who is our global guide of Heartfulness Institute. I request Thiru Prashant Vasu to share this message with us. Prashant.
On behalf of Daji, Shri Kamlesh D. Patel, our spiritual guide and president of the organization Shri Ramchandra Mission behind the Heartfulness movement, a hearty welcome to Thiru Raviji and respected elders and several very, very dear sisters and brothers whom we are meeting after a long time. This message is offered with sincere prayers that we may feel Daji's spiritual essence and presence despite his physical absence. On a lighter vein, he hails from Gujarat, but he spent many years here in Chennai, and he starts and concludes this message on an interesting note, which we will just hear now. So here goes. Ellorkum en anbana Vanakkam. I am unable to attend this event physically because of some temporary health reasons. I would love to be with you all in person. However, please let me assure you that my heart and soul are with you all, and especially with the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Raviji. Today, I am requesting Prashant Vasu to share my message with you all. It is my great privilege and pleasure to welcome our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Raviji, to the Heartfulness Center in Manapakkam for our first event of YogUtsav to experience the real essence of timeless wisdom. I would also like to welcome all the other esteemed dignitaries present here today, along with our Heartfulness community members. For the last 76 years, our organization has been teaching meditation and yoga for the improvement of individuals first and subsequently society. At the individual level, many today suffer severe stress-induced psychosomatic illnesses. At the social level, the biggest danger to human survival is a fall in values and ethics, which seems to be accelerating every day. We are all aware that the only permanent remedy is authentic spirituality, based on fundamental values of honesty, humility, optimism, and love. The Heartfulness Institute feels that a transfusion of values, ethics, and morals from the ancient and modern spiritual literature will help greatly in developing such a spiritual culture. We have already published Sri Vinoba Bhave's talks on the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Ramchandraji's Truth Eternal, and James Allen's book As a Man Thinketh in many languages. Tales from the Vedas and Upanishads, as well as the authentic yoga based on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, are the latest additions to the series. Such books will provide spiritual nutrition for building a new generation of genuine and compassionate people who can heal our planet Earth. Tales from the Vedas and Upanishads are stories from our ancient scriptures for the young minds, expressed in a very modern and optimistic language for the current generation's children. Most of us know that most diseases originate in human minds. It stands to reason that the cure also has to originate in human minds. To serve this purpose, Sri P.Y. Deshpande's book on Patanjali's sutras focuses attention on the truth underlying man's being and his way of living. He discusses clearly the nature of the meditative mind, the effects of meditation on consciousness, and the techniques to realize the full human potential. Yogic psychology gives great experimental insights into the human mind, not yet realized by modern psychology. For success in yoga, a great catalyst is the ancient pranahuti or yogic transmission rediscovered by the founder of the heartfulness practice. It can yet give a quantum leap to yoga itself, as verified in the practical experience of millions today. It is a gift to humanity at a critical time. Kindly savor these two books, digest and assimilate them, then share them with your personal and immediate community, and finally with the society at large to facilitate a new awakening and unity based on purity. It is our fond hope and sincere aspiration that tales from the Vedas and Upanishads are studied in every school and college as part of the curriculum. At an advanced level, the authentic yoga based on Yoga Sutras of Patanjali is an original research work by Sri P.Y. Deshpande. It can be used as a source book for advanced research in yogic psychology in our universities. My heartfelt gratitude to the Governor of Tamil Nadu and other dignitaries present here for spending their valuable time in supporting our aspiration and commemorating the launch of these two books, which are close to my heart. I invite the Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R.N. Raviji, and other dignitaries present here today to visit the world headquarters of the Heartfulness Institute at Kanha Shantivanam, which is 1,400 plus acres of abundant green space. Please accept my invitation to Kanha Shantivanam. Be my guest. Meditate with me here in this lush green heaven, which houses over 700,000 plants, trees, and shrubs. I look forward to meeting you all here. Thank you, sir. Ellorkum Nandri.
Thank you, Prashant, for sharing this message of Daji with us. I now invite Dr. Veronique Nicolai, Director, Heartfulness Yoga Institute, to share with us on heartfulness initiatives with yoga as a highlight. Dr. Veronique.
Namaste. Let me introduce in a few words the activities of our Heartfulness movements and all its initiatives. Historically, it is known as Sahaj Marg, or the natural path. And although it started at the turn of the century, it was registered as Sri Ramchandra Mission in 1945. It is a unique approach to the Raja Yoga system of meditation and being offered to communities and aspirants across the world. Our global mission is to help to develop peaceful, healthy, and holistically educated individuals led by the inspiration of their hearts and imbued with a spirit of human well-being and oneness. Heartfulness programs are offered to aspirants and communities through myriad of programs in schools, colleges, universities, in villages, in government offices, hospitals, NGOs, corporate institutions, and armed forces, public services. We have a virtual presence and also on-site programs, which we hope will start again at the turning of this new year. Behind these activities is our guide, Sri Kamlesh Patel, affectionately called Daji. He's the fourth spiritual guide in the Sahaj Marg system of Raja Yoga. He oversees all the heartfulness centers worldwide in over 160 countries and guides the thousands certified meditation trainers who are permitted to impart heartfulness meditation training with yogic transmission under his care. And under his guidance, you heard his invitation to visit Kana Shantivanam, our wonderful world headquarters that was built over the last years over an almost barren ground. Kana Shantivanam is now a very green campus, a beautiful space designed to facilitate extensive spiritual training, mentoring programs, promoting personal inner experience and an opportunity to learn and to contribute. So Kana has the world's largest meditation hall, and it was inaugurated in January 2020 by Honorable President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovindji, who honored us with his presence on the campus. Kana also has facilities such as a world-class wellness center with Ayurvedic treatment and alternative holistic wellness treatments. It's a lush green oasis with green initiatives. We have more than 3 lakh trees planted, a nursery with 6 lakh saplings, and we also take care of endangered species. This is a self-sustainable ecosystem. In this campus, there's also a school called the Heartfulness Learning Center, as well as a Heartfulness Yoga International Academy. This academy trains people to practice yoga, the 8 limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, from the Yama-Niyamas to Samadhi. It also trains yoga trainers to be able to spread these techniques, including the heartfulness techniques, all over the world. So people come to Kana from all over the world to meditate and participate in the various activities of the campus. Kana offers the most beautiful and peaceful atmosphere to meditate and to rejuvenate, and a feeling of joy and community. So Heartfulness is present over 160 countries. It has 14,000 meditation trainers in those countries. And we have been touching over 5 million people today. Our offerings are extended in the spirit of service, without commercial intent, and are free of charge. Everybody is welcome. We also offer a large range of publications, and you see 2 of them today: books, magazine, online magazines, and we touch many lives through our online platforms in languages with self-learning programs and all our channels. You are all welcome, and I am very happy that we had in his message presence of Daji here and also in invitation for all of us to be together in Kana Shantivanam. So you are welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Veronique Nicolai. I now invite an address by Dr. K.S. Balasubramanian, Deputy Director, the Kupaswamy Shastri Research Institute, on introduction of the book, The Authentic Yoga. Sir.
Namaste to all. Revered Master, Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu, in the field of yoga, it is customary to start with this homage to the great saint Patanjali. So I will start with this respectful verse. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya tu vaidyakena yopakarot tam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. This verse says, I salute the great saint Patanjali, who removed the defects of the body by giving a treatise on Ayurveda, namely Charaka Samhita, who removed the defects of the mind by giving a text called Yoga Sutra, and who removed the defects of the speech by writing a monumental text called Mahabhashya, a standard treatise on Sanskrit grammar. A person is born, but how he should live? Our Honorable Governor of Tamil Nadu quoted this passage from Yajurveda a few days ago, so I shall quote it again. Sarve santu sukhinaha, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve badhrani pasyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. This is verily the message of yoga. Let everybody in this world be happy. Let no one have any disease whatsoever. Let all the people see only good things, auspicious things, and let no one suffer in this world, no one experience sufferings in this world. This is what Patanjali's Yoga Sutra aims to give all of us, without the restriction of color, caste, creed, sex, religion, nationality, etc., etc. And this is what Heartfulness also stands for. So this is the aim of yoga, to remove the ailments of the physical body as well as the mental aspect of human being. For the removal of the physical diseases, because it is very important that we maintain a good health. So says Kalidasa also, Sharira Madhyam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. The first and foremost duty of everyone is to maintain a good health, to keep his body fit. And Patanjali, bearing this in mind, has prescribed asana and pranayama in his yoga. That is, the postures as well as different breathing techniques. All these things were later developed so well by the subsequent yoga teachers, especially in the branch of Hatha Yoga. And to make our mind peaceful, calm, and to do useful service to the society, Patanjali prescribes many means. But as it is said, man is a social animal. But how to become a human being? So Patanjali starts his Yoga Sutras or the Ashtanga Yoga by giving the moral and ethical values that is the 5 yamas and 5 niyamas. And later on, he prescribes meditation. This is what heartfulness also teaches us. Through meditation, Patanjali says, all the vrittis, all our mental disturbances are cleansed. But what is the use of yoga in the present century or in the future? Patanjali addresses this in the beginning itself. He says why he is giving yoga to the society. He says, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. We have been experiencing a lot of sufferings in this world. We don't have control over it in the past, but at least future sufferings can be avoided. Therefore, Patanjali says the future sufferings should be avoided and one should follow the 8 steps. And what are the 8 steps? The first 2 steps talk about the moral and ethical values, and then the next 2 bringing the practices of pranayama as well as asana for keeping our body and spirit in good health and good spirit, and then to make our mind fit to keep all the sense organs in the proper orientation, pratyahara, followed by dharana, concentration, dhyana, meditation, samadhi, absorption. All these steps have been wonderfully explained by Patanjali thousands of years ago, but most of us cannot read it and understand this. Therefore, Sri Deshpandeji has delved deep into this text and translated it and given us the explanation for each sutra in his wonderful way, in a very lucid manner. And of course, Rabbi Daji, our master, has provided very interesting and lucid notes for this. Therefore, I strongly recommend that all of us read this book and then be benefited by practicing what has been said and what has been practiced for thousands of years and which is offered free of cost without any discrimination whatsoever by the heartfulness system, which is based on pure love and meditation. And I thank Rabbi Daji Sahab and I thank our Honorable Governor for coming over here, and I thank all of you for your passionate listening. This is free, there is no discrimination, there is no fees. I invite all of you to participate in this noble task. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Sir, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom. I now invite an address by Thiru Prashant Vasu, President Strategy Ramco Group, on introduction of the children book, Tales from the Vedas and Upanishads. Prashant.
Pranams once again, Honorable Governor, respected elders, and several dear, very dear sisters and brothers. How many of us remember fondly stories from our childhood? Can we have a show of hands? Okay, wonderful. It's an absolute joy to share with all of us the context and content behind the tales from the Vedas and Upanishads that has been published by the Heartfulness Institute and by Daji himself. And if time permits, conclude with a little bit of personal association with stories. How many of us are wondering, what has this book got to do with the Heartfulness movement? How many may have that question? Nobody has that question. Okay, but we still need some context. The Heartfulness movement aspires to impart an evolutionary impetus to society. It does this by offering a set of transmission-aided, unique meditative practices that stoke in each individual the call for the infinite and help them consummate this journey. When a critical mass of people thus inspired embrace these unique set of practices and the associated heartfulness lifestyle, society as a whole transforms. A key constituent of future society are the youth and children of today, for they form the better world that we are trying to create. This book aims to influence and impact that pool of people who are going to be part of a better tomorrow. The heartfulness movement impacts and inspires children in many ways. The most direct way and the most endearing way is the fondness that the spiritual guides of heartfulness themselves have for children. The first guide, Lalaji, was known to be a great lover of children, as Babuji describes him. There is a wonderful story of Babuji, the second guide of heartfulness, offering toys to children as a memento during his early visits to the West, beyond India. For those of us who have experienced in Manapakam Ashram, Chariji, he always had this bag, a large storehouse of Ferrero Rocher chocolates that he used to ask Sadbir sitting here to distribute to little kids whenever they came. And he would do this, and magically the chocolate would appear and the kids would be all delighted. And Daji continues that tradition of inspiring and igniting children at a personal level. They seem to have unstopped access to his room, to the swing in which he sits, etc., and special privileges that children seem to enjoy. So that's the direct impact that the Heartfulness Institute has on children, through the endearing touch and magical touch of the spiritual guides. But institutionally as well, directly, the Heartfulness movement touches the youth and children through programs, through the two schools, Lalaji Omega International School and the Heartfulness Center in Kanha Shantivanam, through value-based education programs that are offered in several other schools, through the essay competition that is run annually, and now through the Brighter Minds program that helps children under the age of 15 balance their left and right brain and enhances their sense of intuition and perception. Full time over. Okay. Okay. So that's the direct way in which the Heartfulness movement touches. But the movement also influences the ecosystem in which children reside by impacting teachers and parents. And it is towards that this book is directed, so that teachers and parents who are part of the ecosystem of the youth may engage with youth and children in a very different way. And this again happens through three forms. As our spiritual guides and Daji often emphasize, that when parents meditate at home, the atmosphere changes and children automatically imbibe the vibratory capacity in the atmosphere, and thereby automatically also pursue the path of personal transformation and mastery. Secondly, by parents and teachers serving as role models for the youth of today. Daji often says that the best way to influence them is by being a role model. But there is a third and more direct way as well, through sharing of stories and the subsequent conversations that emerge out of it around stories. And that's what so many of us remember. And when put up our hand, when I asked the question, do we remember stories that our parents and teachers told us? It's to fulfill that cause of connection between parents, teachers, and the youth, and to inspire them is this book. So what is the content of this book? This book has tales from the Vedas and Upanishads, has around 25 cherry-picked stories of wisdom from our ancient spiritual texts. Stories of courage, stories of honesty by the great Satyakama, stories of inquiry by Nachiketas, beautiful stories that are embedded here. And the beauty of this book is that they are presented not as dogmatic instruction, but as very subtle suggestions in a neutral language, accompanied by thought-provoking questions that can stoke a sense of inquiry in children. As Daji beautifully says in the introduction to this book, his hope is that these ancient stories will help us grow in wisdom and humility, in intelligence and creativity, kindness and nobility. And his hope is also that through these books, children who read them are able to navigate through the clutter of their lives amidst all the distractions and penetrate to the core towards the journey of inquiry and personal mastery. So that's what this book is about. For me personally, it is a matter of great privilege and joy to share this with everybody. My daughter is 21 years old. We spent a lot of time reading stories together. And when I told her about this book in the morning, she said, Appa, even today, most of our conversations are around stories. Okay. And so it's an absolute delight. In a way, by sharing these stories with the next generation, we are contributing to the evolution, the impetus of the Heartfulness movement. With great gratitude to Daji and everybody associated with this book, we are all encouraged to read it, and Daji's inspiration is with all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prashant. Sir, we would like to present you with the books and to give ourselves an opportunity for a small photo shoot, which will last a few minutes. I request Ashwin to present to the Honorable Governor the books, please. I request Urvasi to present to Dr. K.S. Balasubramanian and Ms. Menaka to present to Thiru Prashant Vasu. Thank you. Sir, if you could please. Thank you, sir. I now request our Honorable Governor, Thiru R.N. Ravi, to present the Chief Guest address to us, sir.
Most respected Daji, Thiru Prashant Vasu, Working Committee Member of SRCM, Thiru K.S. Balasubramaniam, Deputy Director, Kopuswamy Sastry Research Institute, Dr. Veronique Nicolai, Director, Heartfulness Yoga Institute, Thiru T.V. Kamal Kannan, Former CEO of TCS Japan, Thiru Venkat Lakshmi Narasimham, Senior Director, organizers of Heartfulness Institute, distinguished invitees, gracious ladies and gentlemen, Anaivarkum, Kale Vanakam, Namaskar to all of you. I thank the Institute for giving me this opportunity to come listen to the learned speakers, thoughts of Dajis, and also an opportunity to share some of my thoughts. You know, thousands of years ago, and by some estimate, experts are not unanimous, but the general majority of experts, they confirm to the view that is about 6,500 years ago, the time of Rig Veda, that our great rishis, it must have been over a period of generations. It couldn't have happened just to one generation or one set of people. The realization came. The fundamental realization of unity of creation. That every being in this creation is organically connected with each other. It's like leaves of a tree, which has million leaves. No leaf, two leaves are alike, and yet they are organically connected with the tree. So this organic, integral unity of creation, a sense of the Creator, and the fact that this creation is governed by set of immutable laws. It's not arbitrary. It's not whimsical. It follows immutable laws. And that's how the comprehensive understanding of the creation, the universe comes. What they call is a Rit Siddhant, a Rit. This understanding of the unity of creation, that is oneness of creation and one creator, and the fact that this creation is governed, it conducts its affairs through immutable laws. Now, this was something which was not intellectual, because in our Indian tradition, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, unlike the West, intellect is not sovereign. There are a lot of things which is beyond explanation. If you try to explain through reason, reason humbles down. When we listen to music and feel enthralled by it, how do you explain it intellectually? You feel different emotions that it creates. When you see a beautiful flower, the feeling that it gives you is not something. So this is anubhuti, intuitive understanding, experience. So the knowledge is composed of intellectual understanding, which we try to understand through our Gyanendriya, the 5 sense organs, and something beyond that is anubhuti, that we experience intuitively. And only the two, when they come together, you get a comprehensive understanding of things. This is the fundamental difference between the epistemology of Bharat and the West. That is why, when our rishis, when they try to explain this, that this creator, unity of creation, this sense, how do you get to appreciate it? It is not through argument, it's not through logic. And so different various rishis tried various ways to explain this. And that is how this Shad Darshan, initially the 6 ways to understand Nyaya, Mimamsa, Vaisesika, Sankhya, Vedanta, Yoga came, one of them. And Rishi Patanjali gave this. This is, and when we say this Shad Darshana, darshana is not a philosophy of course. There is a huge problem in understanding our ancient wisdom through English language. Like religion is not dharma. Philosophy is not darshan. Darshan is much more than that. It's a combination of our intellectual understanding and intuitive understanding. The combination of the two, how do you see things? So this yoga, you have experts, they have spoken very well, and in fact is quite a learning experience for all of us. It is a way of experiencing that. And when we realize that realization comes that we are all integrally, organically connected, then becomes Mama Atma Sarva Bhutatma. Then it takes away the conflict. It takes away the differences. It takes away whatever adversely impacts our individual and collective lives. It also is an answer to a very formidable challenge looming the world today, and that is climate disaster, which is looming. It is the anthropocentric view of life that humans are at the center of creation and the rest of creation is just for enjoyment. It has led to reckless destruction of nature and natural resources. And we are getting the curtain raiser of this through some disasters off and on. These are just small snippets of what is going to come tomorrow. Because we believe, this anthropocentric view of life believe that everything is for us, for our enjoyment. It's unlike Bharatiya Darshan, Bharatiya, this philosophy, when he says that we are all integrally connected. We are not at the center of it, we are one of it. And so, your relation with your environment, our relation with everything around is not exploitative, but it is a harmonious coexistence. And that's what, in fact, in the world, when the advanced countries, those who are most responsible for this sort of destruction, they are yet to mend the ways. Bharat has taken a way forward by taking bold decisions, by going for clean energy. And we are meeting it fast, we are moving fast. The target which was fixed in 2016, that by 2025 we will have 100 gigawatt of clean energy, we have already crossed last year, September. There is a huge emphasis on solar energy. Sun God gives us ample energy, there is no need to go anywhere else. If we can harness that. So this yoga is essentially, it is realization, connecting oneself with the rest. And what comes in the way? What comes in the way to a common person, I'm not talking about sadhaks, those who have achieved it, but about the common for us, is our sense of I-ness, that I am there. This is existential, perhaps nature, this is prakriti. For survival, we have to ward against threat, any threat coming to us. I must protect myself. I must protect myself against hunger, against cold, heat, any fear, my interest. So this I dominates, the sense of I-ness dominates all our moments. And this brings the conflict. This sense, overwhelming sense of I-ness comes in the way of connecting ourselves with the rest. And that's the yoga. Yoga, when it through various aspects of it, it has broadly two aspects, physical and non-physical. Physical aspect is about keeping yourself physically healthy. Because our body, as the speaker said, quoted very nicely of Kalidas, Sarira Madhyam Dharma, Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. This is the motto of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Our body is the medium of fulfilling all the dharma. Dharma is our responsibility. Putra Dharma, Pita Dharma, Raja Dharma, all dharmas, whatever. So we fulfill all this because we have the body. So keeping the body swasth, healthy, is a primary requirement. If I am sick, I cannot meditate, I cannot overcome my sense of I-ness. So physically, I need to be healthy. So you have asanas, pranayams, to overcome one barrier of distraction caused by physical eye. And then it takes to the higher level of through meditation and other practices where you connect. Over the centuries of colonization and invasion, this country, this ancient wisdom remained suppressed, remained oppressed. But being eternal, it could not perish. It has survived. It will survive any odds because this is the fundamental truth. But now, it's the responsibility of evolved people of Bharat to take this knowledge, this discipline forward. It is for the entire humanity. It is not for Bharat alone. Because in our worldview, we have never been country-centric. We have always been universal. When we say Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, it's not just a diplomatic or a political slogan. It is rooted in our understanding, realization, the rhythm that this creates the unity of creation. We are all one. It is inborn, it is innate. It's awareness to waking it up so that we become conscious of this fact. It takes away much of our problem in our day-to-day life, at individual level, at the family level, at the society level. And it can take away even at the international level. So it's very, very relevant. In fact, I won't call it merely relevant. It is essential. Because this is one darshan where it is possible because others, there's Nyaya, Mimamsa, Vaisesika, Vedanta, no, they are, to me, it appears far more complex. So, thanks to our great Rishi Patanjali that he gave it a way forward, which is within the reach of a common man or woman. Today is the age of market. Everything is a commodity. So even yoga has become a marketable commodity. You hear about rock and roll yoga, rock yoga, hot yoga, cold yoga, all kinds of yoga. Because it has become a craze. And the world has come to realize that yes, the benefit of it, so it has acceptance all over, irrespective of political ideology, irrespective of theological differences, yoga is widely accepted. And so it is important that in this age of market, when we have too many varieties, too many variations, whatever appeals to the customer, produce. You tailor it according to the taste of the customer. That's not the way wisdom transmits. This is not the way the knowledge is passed on. So in this market age, producing this book, Authentic Yoga, is creditable, and its author deserves all the credit. A big thank you from all of us. Maybe because they thought that I am coming today, so the organizers, they passed on one copy of each yesterday to me, and I went through the books. So I had the advantage of reading the book before I came. It's remarkable, the simplicity of the language, because the sutras, they are so brief, so condensed. Any literal translation is prone to produce a misinterpretation of it. There's a prone. I don't say that everyone, but by and large it has, because a translator does it according to this knowledge. The sutra passes through the mind, the prism of understanding of the translator, and translator puts it this way. This is what I have found even in Tirukural, the great wisdom of Tiruvalluvar. All these translations which I have got, about more than 25, 30 of them, so literal, and most of the Kurals are so away from what actually the great sages wanted to say. It is because our people translated it with the understanding, not with the Bharati understanding, but with the English language, English understanding, the lexicon of English. So this is the problem also with our own people, those who are translating it. Now this book, Authentic Yoga, I found it very insightful, lucid language, and easily comprehensible. And the tales from Vedas and Upanishads, I was quite delighted to see that continuing with the Bharatiya tradition, Bharatiya Gyan Parampara of transmitting, conveying the knowledge through stories. It's not only Veda Upanishad, even Hitopadesh. All wisdom was through stories. This was our Bharatiya Gyan Parampara, our traditional Indian knowledge transmission system. Because when you tell a story, the character of the story passes through various situations, and the child who is reading the story also those emotions, those feelings get resonated. It's like as it says, it's a violin and the string, the chord that you play, the string. It plays, and those emotions wake up. A good deed, compassionate response to a situation where the compassion was needed. The child, those feelings, those emotions which are dormant in all of us, these stories help to wake up those. When we grow by calendar physically, are we growing also emotionally? Are we getting those feelings, wide range of emotions which, if not awake, we might have grown physically, or might have also intellectually grown a lot, but the person can be a monster. So these stories, they help the child in waking up at an early age those emotions, those sentiments which are needed for a holistic growth for an individual. To say that non-violence is good, it's only comes to our mind. It doesn't have much meaning. or to be honest is good. It is a cliche. Everyone talks about it. But when the child at impressionable age, reads a story, and when the child sees the virtue, because essentially there is a goodness in every human being, when that sentiment wakes up, that awakened sentiment remains through the life of the person, the child. And it is that comes to the child's conduct, honest conduct, when the grown-up child as a grown-up person is faced with a situation, whether do something this way or that way. This helps the person taking the right decision. So it's very important that these stories, and our Veda, Upanishad, ancient scriptures are all full, entire literature is full of stories. Whole Ramayana, Mahabharata, full of stories. Because this was our Gyan Parampara. This is how we learned. And these stories are, again, very short, very well written. I read some of the stories. And every story has a question on the side which prompts the child to think over it, ponder over it. So I, again, congratulate the author of these books, both the books, for doing this yeoman service to our not only country, but to the humanity at large. I'm talking Bharat, has a huge responsibility. When we are faced with, the world is faced with humongous problems. Climate, I said one. Weapons of mass destructions. We have weapons dispersed over the world which can destroy the world many times over. All these conflicting ideologies. And look at what happened, the crisis that we are going through, the global COVID. When the COVID emerged, it surfaced and it hit the world. And there was no answer to it. There was no medicine, there was no vaccine. We just didn't know what it was. The nature of the beast was completely unknown. And then everyone thought that, everyone keen and praying, let the vaccine come first, at the earliest. And when vaccine started coming, there was a thinking that, look, at least this pandemic would teach a lesson to the world, the lesson of compassion, that look, if something happening in one part of the world, you will not be unaffected. You may be prosperous, you may be affluent, but you will not be unaffected. At least from that point of view, you will be able to, out of that necessity, you will be able to cooperate. And perhaps if those rich and advanced countries, those who develop the vaccine, would be able to provide the vaccine to the needy and poor in the rest of the world. But look at what happened. Very disappointing. The moment they got the vaccine nationalism started growing. Mercantile interest grew, took over. Every country started promoting its own vaccine, making money out of it. So this pandemic was looked upon as an opportunity for making money. It was only Bharat that, thanks to our scientists, that we got the vaccine, our own. And this Matri, this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this darshana, this outlook, the worldview, that we started giving vaccine to over 100 countries, needy people in over 100 countries under what we call vaccine friendship, Matri. So what I'm saying is Bharat has a huge responsibility, a global responsibility. It's not only responsibility for Bharat, for our country alone, but it's a responsibility for the whole world. But to discharge that responsibility effectively, purposefully, Bharat has to grow. This knowledge was, Patanjali yoga has been there for thousands of years. All this wisdom of this world is a family has been there with us, but people have not listened to us much. We have to grow. We have to be capable of transmitting this mission. And that is why we have a vision now that in the next 25 years, we have to make this country capable enough, what we call Atmanirbhar, what we call self-reliant, so that we need to, when we tell something, it is listened, it is taken with due seriousness, with due gravity. We have a huge responsibility, and then the youth of the day has a great responsibility, because they are the people, those who will be building this country. Our generation will be fading away. It is the youth. And for youth to grow into capable citizen, this yoga, what this institute is doing, Heartfulness Institute is doing, what the movement is doing, is something which is very, very valuable. I wish the institute, the organizers, and all those who are associated as a part of, we always believe in parivar, the family concept. When we talk about world as a family, this itself is a family, a small family. Integrated with a larger family, members are yet to come. So, wish everyone all the best. Thank you very much. Rombanandri, thank you.
Sir, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for such a wonderful speech. I would now like to invite Thiru TV Kamalakkannan, ex-CEO of TCS Japan, to deliver the oath of thanks. Mr. Kamalakkannan.
Thank you, Venkat. Good morning, dear sisters and brothers. What a wonderful day and what a bright day it was today. The day glittered with the scintillating speeches by our honorable chief guest and other speakers. I would like to wholeheartedly thank and express our gratitude to our honorable chief guest, honorable governor of Tamil Nadu, Thiru R. N. Ravi, for taking time of his busy schedule, especially during the weekend, and coming over here to honor us with this address. He beautifully explained the unity of creation, and he gave an excellent, nice example, simple example of how we are like a tree with millions of leaves and with a great interconnection. And he lucidly explained the concept of Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. So, and apart from that, he also nicely articulated the wisdom and the vision of the ancient rishis and how they can be applied in real life, not in theory, how they can be applied in real life and for the world peace. So, we are honored, sir. Thank you very much for coming over here for delivering your address. And I would like to also thank all the speakers, Dr. Veronica Nikolai, Dr. K.S. Balasubramaniam, and through Prashant Vasu for their wonderful speeches. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sirs. And I would like to thank our Reverend Daji for his kind message, universal message in the beginning. Thank you, Reverend Daji. And I would like to extend my thanks to the security personnel of the Raj Bhavan and his entourage for coming here and extending their support, and to the media and to all the wonderful volunteers, all sisters and brothers, and the various institutions. I cannot name them. There are plenty of the institutions who supported us, including Omega International School, whose children played the songs nicely. So thank you all for coming over here on a weekend day. And finally, a word of thanks to the organizers, Brother Sadbir and everyone for coming over. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to invite our volunteers to present a small memento as a token of our appreciation and gratitude to the guests. So please. Thank you, sir. So, and to Dr. Veronica Nicolai, we cannot forget her. She's our yoga teacher. So, thank you, ma'am. And once again, sir, we are honored. Thank you very much, and thank you all. Nandri, vanakkam.
I kindly request all of you to be upstanding for the national anthem of India.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, sir.